Alright, so in this document I will introduce you guys to how to create tables in LaTeX. So let's begin. First line, document class article. The main document will start off with begin document, and we'll end with end document. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, so here I will start to add my table information. Tables, just like any environments. So for example, this is an environment here, begin document, end document. The same thing works for tables and figures and a whole other bunch of stuff in LaTeX. So what we'd have to do is do begin functions and end functions. Okay, in LaTeX, to create a table, it's actually called tabular. And here is where you would specify whether you want left justified, center justified, or right justified text inside of your tables. So let's just do a little demonstration of 3 columns, all left justified. So for that I put 3 L's. And to separate information that is to be put into separate cells in a table in LaTeX, you use the ampersand sign. So let's say you want your first column to have the name subject. Then you would separate this cell with the ampersand, and the next cell will have a slightly different title. So let's say age. Then you would have ampersand. Ampersand indicates a new cell is being created, and for that one we will have a cell name gender. Great. And just like before, we would specify end of line with 2 backslashes. Alright, so let's add some contents. Subject A will be our first subject, ampersand. Let's give him the age of 20, and let's say male. We'll finish it with 2 backslashes, and let's create one more subject. B, ampersand indicates a new cell, 21, and let's make it female, and that's the end. So that's it. Now you've created your first table, and right now, because I had already saved the file name previously, I will just typeset it, and it should spit out a nice table for us. And of course it did. So notice the structure. It's all left justified. So all of the cells on the left hand side are left justified. The middle column is all left justified, and so is the far right column. Let me just show you a couple of manipulations. Here you could make them all central. Typeset it. Notice what the table has done. All of the columns are now centered within the column. If I would like to make them all right justified, I'll just put, instead of C's, R's. Typeset, and notice what the table has done. Each column now is fully right justified. There's also a way to create little borders around our tables. To indicate a vertical border, you would specify it with the line. On my keyboard, it's right beside the curly braces, just on top of the enter key. So it's not the L, it's actually the line, the vertical line that separates characters. I'm not sure what to call it, but if you, instead of the backslash, you hold shift and hit backslash, it produces that line. Okay, so let's separate all of our columns with that line, vertical line, and let's see what this table look like. Okay, so I've just introduced 4 separations. Count them: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now to separate all of our rows, the command is different. It's called H line. H for horizontal. And let's say you would like to have a double H line to separate the titles from the rest of your content of the table. Let's see what this produces. And another thing you could have done is add an H line at the top, and now what you have is a table that's fully boxed. If you get rid of one of these H lines, you'll have a nice compact table. So I hope this was a nice simple example for people. Remember that you can keep adding content here, but recall that you have to separate all of the cells with the ampersand. And notice that here I only have 3 rows, or sorry, columns, 1, 2, 3, R, R, R. That means I would have to have 2 ampersands. So it's basically the number of ampersands is n minus 1 number of columns. So if you have 3, in this case, n minus 1 would give you 2 ampersands that you would have to have. And let's say if I typeset this, oh yes, remember to end the content. There we go. So when you leave blanks, it actually knows to keep your cells blank. So let's say I do the same thing, ampersand, 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 end line, and let's see. Okay, it didn't like that. And of course I'm making a mistake here because it should have been only 2 ampersands. That's why the error. And there we go. Blank, 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 which is indicated by the separations of 2 ampersands or 3 cells. So this was a quick example of how to create tables in LaTeX.